Ito, gentlemen, good day, good evening. Happy Rivalry Week, especially for you, Roddy, your Bulldogs.
Got the nerds. Let's do it.
You have the smarter kids down the street. You get to bully them.
Like we always do.
Like you always do, that's for sure. Roddy, I know you have your kid with you, so I will try to not take you away from that. But priorities first. So,
we're a multitasking mambo over here. Let me just get these graham crackers popping, and we in business.
If you are in the building right now, would greatly appreciate a retweet of the first pinned tweet up in the Jumbotron. It is the space link. Would greatly appreciate a retweet of that. Get it out on the timelines so people can come in and join the conversation. Welcome to College Football Chatter, Week 14. Of course, it is Rivalry Week. In my opinion, the biggest week of the regular season. This is where a lot of teams who didn't have a lot of high expectations or fell way short of their expectations can completely flip around the narrative of their season with one win. And it's arguably the greatest regular season week of the year, because if you watched Rivalry Week last year, oh boy, that was arguably the greatest rivalry week in recent memory. So a lot to live up to, but I'm excited. A lot of great matchups this week that we will get into eventually. But we do have breaking news as of an hour ago, according to the official Twitter post. The Oklahoma State Cowboys have hired a head coach. They are bringing in Eric Morris, who was the head coach of North Texas this past year, or the last few seasons. He comes over from North Texas. He will finish out the remaining of their schedule, their season with the Mean Green, and then take over at Oklahoma State. My immediate reaction, I think it's a great hire. I don't know if he's going to bring his offensive coordinator with him. I would assume he is. So if that is the case, expect run and gun, very high tempo offense, very pass heavy offense. And especially Oklahoma State fans, I would get excited. You're getting Eric Morris, very real chance you potentially get Drew Messamaker out of the portal if he does enter the portal. So a lot to be excited about real quickly for Oklahoma State coming up here in the immediate future. I personally think it's a great hire. He's been very successful at North Texas the last few years, and he has them in an American Conference Championship race right now and a potential playoff spot on their hands at the moment. So I personally think it's a great hire. Colton, I'm going to throw it over to you first. What are your first immediate thoughts on Eric Morris being hired by Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a great fit. It's hard to say for sure because you've had the same guy for like 20 years. But I mean, for what he's done in such a short period of time at North Texas, and for them to be like on the verge of potentially winning their conference and making the playoff as the G5, which is, I mean, pretty tough to do. We've only seen it twice, and the last one was Boise State, led by arguably a deserving Heisman player in Ashton JT. But in my opinion, they should be in if they win the AAC. I don't know. I guess the committee assumes that Tulane is going to beat them, but I think offensively, it is a great hire. Especially like you said, if they get their offensive coordinator. But defensively, that's where it's going to be something. They're in the Big 12, so they have room to breathe there. But you got to nail the defensive hire if you're Eric Morris at Oklahoma State. I know that he's just got signed, and that's going to be an off-season long thing. But like you said, if they can get Messamaker, I assume he'll have a lot of offers in the portal if he does go in the portal. So that's also, I think, a big if they can get him. But I mean, obviously his coach is going to be there, so it is a possibility. I like it. off first impressions, superstitiously speaking, Morris's are a bit scary to hire, but not a little stitiously. I like that. I just like it in general. I think it's a really good fit.
For sure. Roddy, what do you think of Oklahoma State with this hire?
Yeah, I mean, I saw North Texas mods and fans calling North Texas the second best team in Texas this season. I said, "Oh, okay, y'all talking crazy." But in terms of the hire, I definitely think it's a great one. We've over the past 2 years seen the whole coach leaves, player leaves, especially with Arbuckle and Mateer as the latest ones or the most notable one last season. So. I like it. Definitely is going to be a step up, obviously, going to the Big 12, even though I think the Big 12 is kind of like the Wild Wild West every year, no pun intended. It's kind of an open forum or open season for anybody to come in and get a bunch of good recruits and be able to take the thing over. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think at all that I was kind of confused or wondering who Oklahoma State was going to hire, given, you, like Colton said, you had the same dude for 20 years. So,
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to see what direction they wanted to go. But I think it was valid what they did. So, I mean, I like it. End of the day, I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely a change of pace from what Mike Gundy was. I'm trying to pull up the On3 article right now. I do not know how young he is, but obviously any coach they were going to hire was going to be a age difference, at least from Gundy. So they're definitely going in a younger.
In his 30s.
That was my thought. That was my thought. Okay, I just got the article pulled up from On3 and Brett McMurphy. So scrolling down. So obviously, a follow-up question to both of you. How does this play out for North Texas, at least in the immediate future? Because they're still very much alive for the American Conference Championship, outside shot at a Group of 5 playoff spot. Do you think that potentially has an effect on their game this weekend and going forward, or do you think they're fully locked in to finish the season with Morris?
I mean, this week I still like their odds against Temple, but we've seen it throughout the season that when coaches have their names brought up in potential carousel moves, and I guess now, especially since he's taken the deal and that they know that he's gone after the season, it could kind of derail them. I think. I mean, there's definitely multiple teams that could beat them. I don't think Temple's one of them, but I would not be surprised if this is kind of the news that either they rally behind it, they give it their one last hoorah and try and make the playoff, or it's just kind of like, okay, well, screw you for leaving us. And essentially the biggest moment of our season going into the conference championship game, into potential playoff. It could go either way. I would lean probably more towards the latter, though, that I don't think they lose to Temple. Obviously, anything is possible. Temple's not a great team. North Texas has a very good offense. I think they'll be fine there. But definitely conference title, I could see that kind of being where it kind of falls apart a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And just real quick on Morris's history with North Texas and his coaching resume in general. He is currently 21-15 with North Texas, and of course they are 10-1 this season. Very much on track for playing for the American Conference Championship. All they need to do is beat Temple this weekend, and they are in that championship game. Morris, who played at Texas Tech under Mike Leach and was the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech and Washington State with Mike Leach. In his career, he's coached Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, Cam Ward, John Mateer, and Chandler Morris. And now, obviously, Mestamaker this season, like this, I mean, he basically is a quarterback whisperer. I mean, if you're bringing in that type of acumen to Oklahoma State, I mean, just based on that list of quarterbacks, if I'm a potential quarterback looking at schools I want to go to, I'm not giving Oklahoma State, I'm not nodding them away. Like, I would fully give them a potential look just based on their head coach's acumen to produce high level quarterbacks. That's just my personal thought. Like, if I see that list, I mean, I'm seeing the greatest quarterback of at least of my generation, Mahomes. Like, I'm easily giving Oklahoma State a chance to hear out their pitch to me for sure. So Pete Nakos of On3 put out a hot board, I guess, of potential candidates that North Texas could go after. I'm just going to read off the names, and if any name sticks out to the two of you, just give a holler at me. So first name on the list is Billy Napier, of course, formerly of Florida. Tyson Helton of Western Kentucky. Ryan Beard at Missouri State. Colin Klein, Texas A&M offensive coordinator. Mac Leftwich, Texas Tech offensive coordinator. And Shannon Dawson, Miami offensive coordinator. Skylar Cassidy, the defensive coordinator right now at North Texas. Arbuckle at Oklahoma, their offensive coordinator. Clint Killow, I think I'm pronouncing that name correctly, head coach at Incarnate Word. And that's the list that Nakos put out right now. Not bad candidates. I mean, I don't know if one of these big time offensive coordinators are going to take us. I would necessarily call it a step down from like an A&M offensive coordinator position to North Texas. I don't really see that happening. Shoot, I feel like this would be a great hire. Billy Napier. I mean, yes, he did go 12-16 in SEC play at Florida and went 22-23 overall in his 4 seasons there. But if you look back to prior to Florida, he was 40-12 in 4 seasons at Louisiana, which is obviously a G5 team on a similar level to North Texas. I think that'd be a great bounce back spot for him personally. In the American, it is very competitive. North Texas has been very competitive in that conference the last few years. Like, I think that'd be a great bounce back spot for him personally. But I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on that hot board.
I would definitely have Billy Napier as my top candidate as well. If I'm in North Texas, like you said, a great success at Louisiana. I really don't think. I mean, Arbuckle kind of makes sense because he's in the region.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see a team like a Miami or a Colin Klein leaving at the pinnacle of a lot of these seasons. Well, I mean, yeah, I really don't see a Colin Klein leaving for North Texas. I mean, North Texas isn't a terrible job. You have a lot of ground you can have if you're a Colin Klein in recruiting. I'm just trying to think of like different reasons. I just don't see. I mean, if Colin Klein waits another year or two and Texas A&M is really good for another two more years, he could be looking at SEC gigs. Like, I don't think this is the jump you make at this time for him or an Arbuckle or I forgot who you said for Miami.
Shannon Dawson.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think you're looking at a Billy Napier. I think any G5 team that loses their coach this offseason should look at a Billy Napier because of the success that he's had there. And I mean, there's some like a Tulane, you might be able to get one of those coordinator guys, but I don't foresee that happening for North Texas personally.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. So I think Billy probably has to be the top choice, kind of, going from a big operation to a smaller one. You can maybe bring some of the things you did learn at Florida and bring them to, a bit of a smaller scale and maybe have success there. I don't know. I think probably they go offense again in terms of like what type of coach that they want. I think they were able to see the success there. So, yeah, I don't know. It really depends on, where the upper room of North Texas, like the AD, the president, or if they even, I don't even think they have a GM. I don't think they're that type of school, but still.
Yeah.
It depends on where they want to go with it. Like, do you want to go more defensive? Because, I mean, we've seen the American Conference and a lot of good defenses in that conference. So, I don't know. It depends. But I think Billy would be the top option. You can maybe elevate your program by getting a guy, like I said, who had the experience at a major operation and maybe bringing it to yours and seeing what you can do with it.
For sure. So yeah, once again, breaking news: Oklahoma State hires Eric Morris from North Texas to be their next head coach. Real quickly, so the ranking show is going to start in about 9-10 minutes. So real quick, let's set the table for that huge weekend. Obviously, rivalry weekend. A lot of conference races are still undecided at this point. I don't believe any team has clinched a conference championship spot in any of the Power Four conferences. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think any team has clinched a spot yet, not even Ohio State or Indiana. So real quick, let's set the table because depending how these rankings come out tonight with the teams that are still in contention will really tell us, like, for instance, in the ACC, does the ACC champ still get in? Because there have been some people throwing out like a doomsday scenario that 2 group of 5 champs get in as opposed to the ACC champ. And especially if the ACC champ has 3 losses. I mean, there's a bunch of different scenarios that can play. So just real quick, let's set the table. Let's start with the ACC. And there are still 6 teams in contention for the conference championship game. Virginia, SMU, and Pitt are all at 6-1. Georgia Tech at 6-2. They are done with conference play. They will play Georgia, obviously, the last game. So they are done with conference play at 6-2. And then Duke and Miami are both 5-2 in the conference heading into the last weekend. So the simplest options, Virginia and SMU. Virginia plays Virginia Tech in the Commonwealth Clash, and SMU goes on the road to Cal, who just fired Justin Wilcox. But obviously, Sagapolotele is still there. He can pull off some magic, obviously, for Cal at quarterback. So the easiest way that happens, Virginia wins, SMU wins. They are both in the ACC championship game. That's the easiest possible route on this list. Pitt needs a win and some help. If Pitt beats Miami in the last game, and then Virginia and SMU both lose, I believe it is Pitt and Virginia in the championship, I believe. And then 2 lost teams, Georgia Tech, Duke, and Miami. Obviously, Georgia Tech is done. There's a lot of other tiebreaker scenarios, but I'm curious to get what you guys think on what the ACC is going to do, because shoot, I mean, a bunch of chaos could happen in that conference, and I feel like Virginia, SMU can both beat their games, but obviously rivalry games, especially for Virginia against Virginia Tech, anything can happen. So I have no clue what's going to happen with the ACC, because I feel like no one in that conference wants to end up winning it. So what do you guys think about, like, the potential options for the ACC championship game, and still 6 teams alive for that game?
Yeah, I think the top 2 are going to win. I like SMU this week. I think Virginia is going to handle business against Tech. That game's in Charlottesville, or it's in Blacksburg? Where's that game?
I believe it's in Charlottesville.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, home game, layup. I know SMU has to go to Cal, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I still like SMU. I mean, even with them firing the coach, we know the whole narrative thing as gamblers. I don't see it. I think SMU has impressed me. Offensively, I think, even if that defense doesn't show up, which I think their defense is halfway decent, I think, offensively they're going to do enough to get out of there with the win. So, yeah, I think the surprises are done with the ACC, and I might be speaking too soon. Might be a what could possibly go wrong situation with that. So don't quote me, but I think we're done. I think we saw all the chaos we're going to see, and the 2 best teams who are in position to be in Charlotte are going to be in Charlotte.
Yeah, so I just pulled up the exact outcomes that need to happen in the ACC. I'm not going to read them all because it is a lot. A lot needs to happen for different outcomes and stuff like that, different championship games. So if anyone is curious for the full breakdown, I just put it up in the jumbo. I'm not going to read all of that. Again, easiest outcome, Virginia and SMU both win. That's your ACC championship game. Big 12, just real quick gloss over it. Texas Tech 7-1, BYU 7-1, Utah and Arizona State are both 6-2. Texas Tech and BYU win their games this weekend. That's your championship game. If Utah beats, I cannot remember who Utah plays this weekend. I do not have it up in front of me. Colton, do you know who Utah plays this weekend?
Is it UCF?
I couldn't remember if they played UCF or if BYU played UCF. Anyway.
You're right. It's BYU and then Utah plays Kansas.
Yes, that's right, on Friday.
Yep.
So if Utah beats Kansas, Texas Tech loses at West Virginia, and BYU and Arizona State win, there is a three-way tie where Utah would get the tiebreaker over both of them, and therefore Utah would then play Texas Tech, I believe, in the championship game. And then Arizona State, if they win, BYU loses, or they win, Texas Tech and Utah lose, it'll be Arizona State against Texas Tech, I believe. Again, bunch of chaos, but I don't see Texas Tech and BYU losing their games this weekend. I'm not sure about the both of you, but I don't think those teams lose their games this weekend. The SEC, A&M undefeated in the conference. Georgia 7-1, Ole Miss 6-1, and Alabama is also 6-1. So Alabama is in the championship game if they beat Auburn. Simple as that. They don't need anything else to happen. If they win at Jordan-Hare on Saturday night, they are in the SEC championship game. Georgia is in with a Alabama or A&M loss. A&M obviously plays Texas on Friday, and Alabama plays Auburn. So if either of them lose, Georgia is in. Ole Miss is in with a win and a Bama and A&M loss. So they need Bama and A&M to both lose and win the Egg Bowl against Mississippi State to be able to get in the game. And then A&M is in with a win or a Alabama and Ole Miss loss. So simplest outcome, Alabama and A&M win. That's your SEC championship game, Alabama versus A&M. Roddy, I think you've said before you don't want to play in the conference championship game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm a Georgia fan, I wouldn't want to play. I wouldn't want to play the extra game. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. And I don't think we're going to get the bye because I think the loser of the game is going to still potentially be top four, which again, even then I can't say that definitively because I think we'll maybe move back to 5 or 6. I could see it happening because Bama's going to have 3 losses in general, not just in conference. But there'll be the SEC championship loser. We saw the committee give a lot of leeway to the conference championship loser last year. So I think they're still going to be in a top 6 spot. But yeah, I don't want to play. I don't love the bye either because, Notre Dame did make the championship game with the bye. I think seeing Drew Aller in clutch time and Georgia with their backup quarterback making his first start in one of the biggest games of his life, I think that might have contributed to it a little bit because I didn't think Notre Dame was extremely impressive on their run last year. But yeah, man, I would love a home playoff game because I think Sanford would be absolutely electric.
That would be crazy.
And, I would love to just continue on that route. I think the bye, we see it in the NFL. It can be harmful. So we'll see. But I don't want to play in the game. I don't.
For sure. Colin, thoughts on the SEC race?
Yeah, I mean, it all falls on Auburn. Little Auburn. Fired Hugh Freeze.
Little Auburn.
I think, this is their match. I mean, it's not their matchup. It's Alabama's matchup. Let me be clear. But you saw Oklahoma 2 weeks ago they didn't need an offense to win. They got handed short fields. They got handed the ball, and all they had to do was take advantage. I think they had, 14, 17 points on turnovers, something like that. Something like that. Auburn is the same. They have a great pass defense. They have a great rush defense. Alabama doesn't run the ball very well. It's going to be up to Ty Simpson. Now, Auburn's secondary is moderately worse than Oklahoma's. I don't think they're going to necessarily lock them down as well. I think Ty Simpson will have more opportunity, but still forcing turnovers, getting sacks, getting pressure on Ty Simpson, and it's a recipe for success. So that's really the matchup, because I think Georgia handily beats Georgia Tech. I think Texas A&M wins, although that matchup's also very good. And so it would be – so is Texas A&M not locked in? I thought they would be, since they have no losses in conference.
A&M just needs to beat Texas. They are not locked in right now.
No, because Alabama only has one because of Florida State. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, that's another matchup, Texas A&M. I know not a lot of people love Texas. Texas is very volatile. But like Auburn, they have a great defense. They are going to be able to win this game. Now it's a matter of Marcel Reed, I think, more so than Texas as a team. I think if Marcel Reed goes out and has a first half like he did against South Carolina this week, I think Texas is more than capable of not blowing a 27-point lead. Not that they will necessarily go down 27, but if Marcel Reed is turning the ball over, the offense isn't as good as we thought it was, Texas could win that game. I think it will be Texas-Alabama. Like Roddy said, I don't even know if I would want a conference title game if you already have two losses. I mean, if you're Alabama, I'm not sure 10-3 with a conference loss would necessarily be. I mean, they'll figure out a way to get them in, probably in the top 7. But going over mine and looking at resumes, Oklahoma beat Alabama. So if it's a 10-3 Alabama versus an Oklahoma who's 10-2 with a win over them, I'm not sure necessarily they get in ahead of them, which I think Oklahoma would probably be around 7 or 8. So then it gets a little tricky. It gets a little tricky for Crimson Tide. But yeah, I think it'll be Alabama and Texas A&M. I think ultimately I have to go with my gut and say Alabama will win that.
Now, Colton, I want to challenge you, I guess, in a spirited debate regarding something you said.
Okay.
Given the team that they're playing,
which team?
Texas's defense. We saw Mississippi State put up points against them. We saw Georgia swing the momentum. I'll kind of credit it to that and put up points against them. We saw Kentucky put up points against them.
Vandy, although it was all in the second half.
Right, exactly. And then Arkansas. So given the situation that they're in, they're playing one of the better offenses in the SEC this year. I mean, we saw that South Carolina game, so they're gettable on defense as well, depending on how it happens. But in your opinion, do you think, from what we thought about maybe the first 4 weeks of the season, do you think either Texas's offense or defense has regressed, or do you think they might be in the overrated territory?
I'm not necessarily sure they've regressed as much as it's been like just injuries. They were missing Taffy for a good portion of the year. They're missing Anthony Hill Jr. last game. I think they have a clear weakness, which is their secondary. They're not, I wouldn't say they're bad necessarily, but they're closer to average than elite in terms of like just the secondary, just against good passing teams, which, I mean, Marcel Reed's a great passer. So that's one thing. But my biggest thing when I say Texas defense is good is they're good at getting pressure on the quarterback. So if they can force Marcel Reed off his game, like South Carolina's defense hasn't been great, but they have those pass rushers, So if you can get pressure on him, if you can force him off his game, that's what lends me more confidence towards Texas. Not necessarily that they'll win, but it won't be like 45-20 necessarily. Texas A&M's offense, really good. Texas's front seven has been really good. I'll say that. Secondary, not so much.
Yeah, I agree with you. Everything you said, I definitely agree with you. I I've been looking at this game. I know we're only on Tuesday. I think A&M might give them the belt, man. I mean, you're talking about two dynamic receivers. Mario Craver is fast as hell. KC, another deep threat. I think they'll be able to, like Georgia, I think similarly, because I think their offensive line is better than ours. They're going to be able to run the ball enough to set up the play action and set up some of them bombs. Like if Arkansas was able to hit it, if Georgia was able to get some chunk plays, like 2.5 is very respectful, man. I think this should be at 4, 5, maybe 6.
Mhm.
Like, and I know that Texas has been considerably better at home than they've been on the road. I also acknowledge that. But man, just the matchup, it's gonna be tough for them this weekend, man. It's gonna be real tough.
Yeah, I have A&M by 4 personally, but it's not. I don't have it as like a 34-30. I have it as, I think, 24-20. I think, like you said, if they can set up the play action, they should be very successful. But it's a matter of, are they going to be able to do that? Because Reuben Owens has been very good for them, but Texas defense, I mean, that front seven's been good at stopping the run to a very successful level this year. I think it will be a matter of Texas A&M's offense just being that much better, like you said, on the perimeter, on the outside, and with the Texas secondary not being that good. I think definitely Texas A&M has the advantage here, but if we're talking different routes to a victory for both teams, Texas's is sacking Marcel Reed 3 or 4 times, forcing a couple of turnovers with their front seven, and flipping the field, keeping Arch Manning comfortable to some degree because that offensive line is terrible. But just, I mean, and that's a huge ask. So I'm not saying it's likely because of how good Cassius Howell and is Scooby Williams playing? Is he back?
I do not know.
If he is,
Scooby ain't played in some weeks. I don't know. He might be. I don't know though.
I wasn't sure if he went out for the season, but I do remember him going out. But if he were to come back, that's another big guy. But Howell, they have playmakers definitely for sure. So it's not. I'm not necessarily leaning Texas, but I am. There are routes to victory for Texas, definitely.
For sure. Completely agree with everything you guys were just talking about, for sure. All right. Real quick with the Big Ten. Ohio State and Indiana are both undefeated in the conference. Oregon and Michigan follow them up at 7-1. Simplest matchup. If Ohio State wins the game against Michigan, doesn't matter what happens in the Indiana-Purdue game, it will be Ohio State versus Indiana. If Michigan were to win the game against Ohio State for the 5th year in a row, it would be if Michigan wins and Indiana and Oregon both win, it'll be Indiana versus Oregon in the championship. If Michigan wins, Indiana wins, and Oregon loses, it is Indiana versus Michigan. If Michigan wins, Oregon wins, and Indiana loses, it's Michigan versus Oregon. If Michigan wins and both Oregon and Indiana lose, it is a Michigan versus Ohio State rematch in Indianapolis. So with a de facto kind of Big Ten semifinal in some cases going on in Ann Arbor this weekend, I mean, we know that game always has high stakes around them, but basically there's 3 games that have huge stakes around them in the Big Ten this weekend. Not as much Indiana. I mean, they are playing lowly Purdue. But, things can get crazy out there in West Lafayette. But really the 2 games to keep an eye out on, Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon at Washington. Now, gentlemen, do we think Michigan is going to win 5 in a row and cause some chaos there for the championship game, or do we see Ohio State finally exercising their demons? Oh God, he's already laughing. Here we go. Hey, is this your official pick right here, or are you just going to talk about it?
Nothing official. Nothing official. Don't corner me. Don't back me into a corner.
Hey, you were laughing. You were laughing. Like,
well, I was laughing because have you seen the weather report on Saturday, Reed?
No, if it's, I mean, I assume there's snow in the forecast.
70% chance of snow.
Let's go. That's amazing.
I mean,
That's awesome, actually.
And I know for the first 13 weeks of this season, we're like, man, Ohio State, man, they're so good. Defense, offense, Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sand, whoever.
That all goes out the door this week.
Dog. And, we've seen Ryan try to galaxy brain this matchup for the last 5 years. And also, we've tried to see him play a brand of football that they're not necessarily built for. They're not the rough and rugged, run the ball, you know what I'm saying, don't take risks type of offense. You need to open the playbook up and make things interesting. But I might be it's Tuesday. I get it. I'm going to still look into the game and cap it. This might be a total stay away, bro, because all we've been saying about Ohio State, just the football gods, if you even believe in those, they're just lining shit up for Michigan, man. It's snow, it's at the big house. Michigan with maybe a more impressive win that we thought they were going to get against Maryland this past weekend. So it might be lining up, man. I'm not going to sit here and say, because I think Ohio State, we all can agree, is clearly the better football team. But, hey, man, it's a lot of stars aligning, bro. And I don't like if I'm an Ohio State backer, I don't like all these stars aligning. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, 18.5 last year, sprinkle on the money line. Michigan was the freest bet of my life last year. And they won the game outright. So, I mean, what's the line right now? 10, I think. Around there, 9.5, 10.5, something like that. I don't know, bro, because it's exactly like you said. Every narrative of both these teams all season goes completely out the door in this game. This matchup, anything can happen. And we've seen it the last 4 years. Michigan has dominated this game. Are they really about to go half a decade beating the same team every single year? I'm like, this isn't Penn State that Ohio State's playing. This is their biggest rival. The rival. Ohio State owns Penn State. Is Michigan about to own Ohio State, bro? I don't know. There's definitely a ton of narratives around this game, and especially the outcome of this game could decide who goes to the Big Ten championship game. Shit, we could have a rematch of this game in 2 weeks if all the results come out the way that they're supposed to. So, yeah, I mean, I'm so excited. Every year I'm excited for this game because, I mean, this is the biggest matchup of the year outside of the national championship in my eyes. This is the rivalry game. I saw someone on my timeline today say that the Texas and actually it was Joel Klatt. Or Joel Klatt said that Ohio State and Michigan doesn't even compare to A&M and Texas, for instance. This game is on a world of its own. I mean, if he's saying that, then I don't know if I fully agree with that, but this rivalry definitely stands out above the rest, in my opinion, for sure.
Wait, so he was saying that Ohio State and Michigan is way different, or Texas and Texas A&M is way better? What was
he said? Ohio State and Michigan is not even comparable to A&M and Texas as a rivalry.
Really? What? Is he okay?
I mean, that's probably some of his Fox bias coming in because he calls the game every year. But
yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, I agree. I still have Ohio State and Michigan as number 2 personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, as soon as somebody goes to prison over Michigan and Ohio State, maybe it's happened, but we didn't have a guy admit on national radio that he was ready to go to prison over a rivalry. So
yeah,
until then, Bama, the Iron Bowl got to be number 1 for me. So I get it. I can get both sides.
Yeah, for sure. The Iron Bowl as well. I mean, Gosh, I love rivalry week, bro. Like, there's just so many big time games, no matter where you look. Like, it doesn't matter if it's like the number 2 team, Indiana. They're going to play Purdue. Yes, it is Purdue. They've been terrible this year. Stuff can get crazy out in West Lafayette, bro. They beat Ohio State a few years ago in night game at Indiana. This game's on Black Friday. Like, this game can get weird, bro. Rivalry games always can get crazy, and we saw that with Ohio State and Michigan last year. So again, full preview of that will be on Thursday, along with all the other big time rivalry games. Speaking of that, quick programming note. The preview show for this week, obviously this is Thanksgiving week, so I will be traveling. A bunch of other people will be traveling, going to see their families, loved ones, stuff like that. So Thursday there will be no preview show, but Friday morning we will have a special edition of the college football preview show. Time to be announced. I'll either be at 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern on Friday. We will do kind of like a kickoff show for those games on Friday, and then also preview the games to come Saturday morning. So make sure to make a note of that. Again, an official post will be put out either tomorrow or Thursday. But the preview show is going to be Friday morning, either at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Yeah, looking forward to it for sure. Trying to work around different people's schedules and stuff like that. So make sure to tune in Friday morning. We are also waiting for this Seton Hall and USC basketball game on ESPN to end before we get to the playoff rankings. There's about 5 minutes left in this game, so I'm also just trying to kill time right now. Just because Roddy brought it up, let's talk about that Iron Bowl, because there's a lot of implications around that game, mainly with Alabama. Alabama wins, they're in that SEC championship game. They lose that game. Who knows the trickle-down effect? For one, they are not in the SEC championship. 2, they are out of the playoff. 3, if anyone paid attention to what I put out Saturday morning, is Kalen DeBoer about to be the next head coach of Penn State? Is Kalen DeBoer secretly on the hot seat, or like under hot like water that we didn't expect? Is there about to be a mutual parting of ways with Kalen DeBoer and Alabama if they don't win the Iron Bowl? If they make the playoff for some reason and lose the first round game, like, I don't know, man. That game could get weird. Jordan Hare at night. Anything can happen. So curious to get your boys' thoughts on this Alabama Auburn game, because it was also announced today that Auburn is going to play Ashton Daniels as their quarterback. Why? Don't know. You had Deuce Knight throw for over 400 yards last week and had 6 total touchdowns. Don't know why Deuce Knight isn't getting the start in this game. But yeah, what do you boys think about this Alabama Auburn game? Early thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this is essentially the Ohio State, Michigan for the SEC. Like, anything goes for this matchup. It's never was it 2 years ago when Jalen Milroe had to throw for like a 39-yard 4th and goal for a touchdown to win in overtime? It's
after he did an illegal forward pass. Yes, that was that.
Yeah, and the week after Auburn lost to New Mexico State. It's one of those games you just can't really. I mean, all signs, in my opinion, point to Alabama, other than it being at Auburn. Auburn doesn't really have a quarterback. I mean, you could say Deuce Knight had a great game last week. He did against Mercer, which is, I mean, no disrespect to Mercer, but they're an FCS team. So I would hope he would have a good game. I'll just say that. And then, I mean, defensively, the defense has to be your offense, essentially. Like, for Oklahoma's offense by itself is just way better than Auburn's. But Oklahoma didn't need to rush for 200 yards, or John Mateer didn't have to have a 300-yard 4-touchdown game for them to win. They just needed to get those turnovers, flip the field and hold on to the ball, and they were able to win. I don't think Auburn is as good as Oklahoma, but this is the Iron Bowl, so I don't think they need to be as good.
And I will say the sneaky line of Alabama -6. That's where teams go to die essentially. Whenever it's that 5.5, 6 line. Jeez, I mean,
I will say I have less confidence in Alabama than I do Ohio State, and I mean, Ohio State's lost the last 4 in a row. So for Alabama to walk into this game without a running game, if they go down by 10 points early somehow, and Jeremiah Cobb's able to run all over them, and they're not able to establish a run, and Ty Simpson doesn't look good, I mean, it could get really, really scary really, really quick for them, just because their run game is just atrocious.
their run game is really bad. It's really bad. And it's not like you're playing a bad defensive like front seven either. Auburn's front seven isn't anything, terrible. So they definitely can hang around. That's for sure. I mean, geez, I really don't know, because I feel like the Alabama fans are going to riot for the board to be out of there if they don't win this game. That's just my personal thoughts. I
wouldn't necessarily blame them.
I feel like they haven't recalibrated their thoughts away from Saban. They're still hung up on like wanting to play for a national championship and SEC championships every single year, and that's not the case anymore. I
mean, you're right, they haven't, but I am of the opinion that they, with the talent level they have, and with Kalen DeBoer's track record, they should have at least made the playoffs the past few years. And I think if they lose that game, they miss the playoff both years in the 12-team format. I think Kalen DeBoer's a great coach. I think he will get them there if they decide to keep him.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say it's necessarily the most outrageous thing I've ever seen. Like 9 wins in 2 years at Alabama with the roster you have preceding the greatest coach of all time. I get it. I won't say necessarily that I agree wholeheartedly, but I kind of get it.
Yeah, and just to reiterate it again, I did have a pretty close source to me. Family friend has connections to more of the more notable donors at Penn State. He told me straight up, like, if things play their course for Alabama, they drop one of these games either to Auburn or in the playoff, Kalen DeBoer to Penn State is a real option. They're gonna try to attempt to poach him away from Alabama. So again, which
would be the absolute best case scenario for Penn State. That's crazy if that happens.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sneaky game. We're right into the playoff rankings. See, exactly what I said. Arizona not ranked now at number 25. Tulane 24. Georgia Tech is down 7 spots to number 23. Pitt is now ranked at 22, and I believe it said SMU at 21. I think that's what it said. So Tulane, number 24, I believe will still be the G5 rep because they were last week and they didn't move. Yep. So, all right. So SMU at 21, other than Miami, is the highest ranked ACC team with a win at Cal. They will play in the ACC championship game.
Interesting.
Arizona State up 5 spots to number 20. Tennessee at 19. Virginia at 18. USC down 2 spots to 17. And Texas at 16. Tennessee's still ranked, bro. It's crazy.
Hey, look, it proved me wrong.
USC's still ranked. I mean, their best win is Michigan, and they lost to Illinois, Notre Dame, and Oregon. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They're also setting it up so the ACC gets in. Like the fact that there's no North Texas and Tulane is only
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
It's ACC's 100. JMU should be in. North Texas should be in.
ACC champ is definitely getting in for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Michigan up 3 spots to 15, so that will be a top 15 game in Ann Arbor. Dude, they really had to go into a whole in-depth highlight package for Michigan, bro. Like, let's get on with it. Like, they're showing Maryland game highlights. Like, yeah, they killed them. Wow, they're really dragging this out. I also don't know what they're saying. I don't have the audio on. Vanderbilt stays put at 14. So that will be 14 against 19 on Saturday. Vanderbilt in Tennessee. Now they have to go into a whole highlight package for Vanderbilt, bro. Like, just get on with it. We've been here for over an hour and 20 minutes already. My goodness gracious, the editing I'm gonna have to do on this replay is insane.
Yeah, I knew that's why you were mad. You're like, fuck, I gotta edit this shit.
It actually was. Utah down 1 spot to 13. Yeah, I was more just upset I have to actually like in-depth go through the recording now instead of just posting it straight up. Miami up 1 to 12. So yeah, I think Miami's gonna be out. I mean, because they do. Have you guys seen that they do like the pools of teams like with similar resumes and records, and then they rank them in the pools and then put them in the order, like holistically? Like their process is stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, man.
Hey, but number 12 Miami will go on the road to number 22 Pitt on Saturday. Miami's still mathematically alive, but it is a long shot. They need a lot to happen. BYU staying put at number 11. They win. They are in the Big 12 championship game. Don't really expect a lot of movement here in the top 10, probably. Maybe Oregon up 1 spot, potentially, over Ole Miss, but other than that. Wait, they were already over Ole Miss, right? Was Oregon... No, Oregon was 6, right? Last week?
Yeah, they jumped Ole Miss, didn't they?
Yeah, I think... It's all escaping me now. All right, Alabama staying put at 10. I would expect Notre Dame here at 9. Yep. 8 should be Oklahoma, unless they are giving them a real big boost from that Missouri win. Oh my God, now they have to do a whole package for Notre Dame, bro. Like,
Hey, people they're doing the highlights for, though. Just
Jeremiah Love?
for future reference.
Jeremiah Love?
No, I'm saying like the teams. Like,
oh, you know yeah. True.
Because the teams they've done a highlight package for are all right now bubble teams. So see what happens there.
You're right. They did Michigan, Vandy, Notre Dame, Miami. Yeah. Just scrolling on Twitter while this is going on. Tony wrote, there was a tweet put out saying that Virginia Tech is getting Tony Rojas 100%. He replied with a thumb down emoji. Love seeing that. Love that as a Penn State fan. Now they're doing a highlight package for Oklahoma, who stays at number 8. Miami did jump Utah. So
interesting.
They were either impressed with Miami last week at Virginia Tech or were unimpressed with Utah and Kansas State playing the game of the year last week. Ole Miss is down one spot to number 7. So therefore, Oregon is at 6. I think if they jumped Ole Miss, I believe that's how that would work.
Yep.
Oregon at 6. Yep. So then Tech should be at, yeah.
Yep. Tech,
Yeah.
Georgia.
Tech, Georgia, A&M, Indiana, Ohio State. Unless the committee was unimpressed with Georgia's 35-3 win over Charlotte, which you did state that Kirby is terrible at covering 40-point spreads.
Yep, told you. And look, we dropped in ESPN's FBI after the win, so.
Seriously?
Yes.
Whatever, bro.
Yeah,
Tech at 5. Georgia at 4. Yep. Don't really expect any changes here. Just have to confirm it. Yep. A&M 3. Indiana will be at 2. And Ohio State will be at 1. Okay. All right. Going to put the rankings post up in the jumbo. So the field, as of right now, Tulane, the 12 seed, will go on the road to Texas Tech, the 5 seed. Notre Dame, the 9, will go on the road to Oklahoma, the 8 seed. Miami is still the ACC representative, but they did make a disclaimer, must win conference to get in. So they are the highest ranked ACC team, so therefore they are putting them in as of right now. But they would go on the road to Oregon. And then a sneaky first-round matchup of number 10 Alabama going on the road to their former assistant, Lane Kiffin, and the Ole Miss Rebels, the 7 seed.
Oh, my God. Oh, oh boy. That will be a movie.
Oxford might burn to the ground.
That will be a movie. Them two teams underratedly hate each other.
Bama and Ole Miss.
Oh, my God. They hate each other. Border rivalry as well. Yeah, they hate each other.
Tulane being behind 5 ACC teams solidifies that any G5 champ will not finish ahead of an ACC team. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, it's like what Colton said. There's definitely a ACC champ getting in, no matter what. So that was the rankings. We are going to finish the show by previewing one of the biggest games of the weekend. It is now number 10 Alabama going on the road to Auburn, the Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare, 7:30 Eastern kickoff on ABC. Alabama is laying 6 on the road at Auburn. Auburn is starting Ashton Daniels at quarterback. That was announced earlier today. Still don't know why Deuce Knight is not getting a start here, but that's just my personal opinion. It was Mercer last week, but he did play really well in his first collegiate start. So, Roddy, I will start with you as our resident SEC guy. Does Alabama escape Jordan-Hare with a win and play in the SEC championship game next weekend?
So in this one, outside of the matchup with LSU in 2019, I don't think the game of the century in 2012, a game that ends 6-9, I don't care how good the defense was.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as good as 2019 LSU and Alabama. I think that's the best football game I've ever watched in my entire life. All the NFL players in that game, if you haven't seen it, look it up.
Yep.
Auburn and Alabama has produced some of the best college football games I've ever seen in my life. I mean, if you want to go to 2010 in the comeback when he spotted Alabama 29 points and then roared back at the end to win it, I think they won like 30-29. If you want to go to the greatest ending of a football game, pro or college, that I've ever seen in the kick 6. We all learned that you can return a kick for a touchdown that day. I mean, even like Colton was saying earlier, 2 years ago, last time they played in Auburn, the Pert and Jordan Hare part two for Bama when Isaiah Bond caught that bomb from Jalen Milroe in the corner of the end zone. So this rivalry should be labeled clean old fashioned hate and not ours. I mean, it is just they hate each other, man. Like I said earlier, I have it over Michigan and Ohio State. Someone has gone to prison over this rivalry. It's a marquee matchup every time they get together. Now, in terms of this year's game, I get why they want to preserve Ashton Daniels' red shirt. So that's the reason why they're doing the whole, not play him last week, play him this week type thing.
Yeah.
I get it in a sense. But I'll say it again. I said it last week and they got beat, and I'll say it again. Alabama better be careful, bro. Like, this Auburn team has a decent run game. They have a quarterback that can be dynamic in the passing game. They have elite wide receivers. I think Singleton and Cam, the fact that they've had to deal with Jackson Arnold all year, definitely shortchanges what they were able to do as athletes. So I think Alabama better be really careful, bro, because I think their front seven is where they have a lot of strength. So I think if they stop the run and make them one-dimensional and make them pass the ball a lot, I definitely could see, an Alabama easy victory. But if they can run the ball with any effect, and if they can get those playmakers the ball, like, there's nobody that can match up with Cam Coleman. Like, he needs to be at the front of the game plan.
Yep.
Like, Alabama better be careful, bro. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I completely agree. Exactly for the reasons you pointed out. This game can go any way, any year, no matter what is leading up to this game, no matter how these teams have played, all season. This game, just like the Michigan-Ohio State one, can go any way, any given year, for sure. Colton, thoughts on the Iron Bowl and the implications of the outcome of this game?
I think if you're a Penn State fan, hypothetically, I know nobody here is, I would be praying, I would be writing letters to Santa every night. Please, Auburn, please do it for me, because the whirlwind of craziness that would ensue after, it would be unlike probably anything else we've ever seen in sport. For Kalen DeBoer, what worries me, just off of, I just thought of this, if all the speculation and stuff is true, are you coaching this as if your job is on the line? Because it could be, but he could already have an underground, pipeline to Happy Valley in the following weeks after. It could be just like, okay, well, that didn't work out. Maybe I'm a better fit there. Is this a scenario where we see Alabama, who's on the cusp, they're in the SEC title picture, just kind of slip and fall, and you watch the game and you're like, is DeBoer trying? Because it's obviously kind of insane to assume he's not, but in the idea that he isn't trying, is he kind of playing it like he knows he's going to be okay? That's the kind of thing. A lot of coaches, like, if you're Kalen DeBoer and this is, between you and Hobby Lobby, if that's where you're working, if you lose this game, obviously you're gonna coach it to the best of your ability. But to me, we will, if Alabama comes out and it looks like they did against Oklahoma, obviously that's not necessarily Kalen DeBoer's fault, but you had the week against Eastern Illinois, essentially a bye week, a scrimmage against Eastern Illinois. And if you come out and you It's at Jordan Hare. I know, like it's not an easy environment to play in. But if you come out and you're flat-footed, you're turning the ball over, it could be that he's just like, you know what, I'm good. Whether we win or lose this game doesn't really. I mean, he's going to make money. He's going to have a good situation. So I feel like, to me, that's the biggest narrative that would go under just the game matchup, the importance of the Iron Bowl, because obviously everybody knows how important this game is.
Mm-hmm.
Is if, I mean, Kalen DeBoer is truly in it at Alabama after all that we've learned so far from him.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a whole bunch of narratives that can play out in this game. Just like Roddy said earlier, Alabama's lack of a run game against a pretty decent Auburn front. Auburn's secondary, are they able to keep up with, the wide receiver talent of Alabama? Does Alabama have enough in the secondary to keep up with the Auburn receiver talent? But then again, does Ashton Daniels have enough to get those receivers the ball, on a consistent, platform all game? So a lot can happen. And speaking from the perspective of a Penn State fan that did put out that news of DeBoer potentially being a option, part of me does want Auburn to win this game. Part of me also wants Alabama to win this game because of, preseason expectations of them, preseason bets of Alabama. I do have future bets on Alabama to win the SEC and the national championship. So, I really could go either way in this game, personally. Now, I'm all for an upset. Don't get me wrong, especially in a game of this magnitude. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for an upset. Again, I will give my official pick on Friday morning for the preview show, but yeah, I'm lucky this is the last game of the day because I will be traveling on Saturday, throughout the day. So I will be home to watch this game, and I'm really excited about that. That's for damn sure. We do have a couple replies in the chat. Wanted to get to those from Ben and Jaden. We'll start with Jaden first because he did put his earlier. What do we think about this parlay for rivalry weekend? So the parlay is 8 legs. He took Ole Miss. All these are money lines. Ole Miss against Mississippi State, Georgia against Georgia Tech, A&M against Texas. He took Michigan money line, or has Michigan money line at plus 320 against Ohio State, Pitt money line plus 195 against Miami, Tennessee money line against Vandy, Oregon money line at Washington, and Alabama money line at Auburn. That is a plus 11,800 parlay. Those are all the favorites except Michigan and Pitt. But I mean, do you guys have any thoughts on this parlay for Jaden if you were to place it? I don't know about that Pitt game. That's my first thought. That Pitt game.
I mean, I like Pitt just because of Miami. You know what I'm saying? I don't love it, but if we're talking about upsets, I would like Pitt more so than Michigan probably.
Yeah, I don't know about the Tennessee one, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I mean, Pavia ain't got nothing to lose. That's my dog. And they're covering machines. So I don't know about the Tennessee one more than anything. I could see the Michigan. I mean, if you're going to get Michigan at 325, you might as well just bet them straight, to me, personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
If you believe they're going to win, that's going to ruin your parlay. But yeah, I say Vandy's my only one. Pitt definitely, even though I think I would rather take Pitt spread. What's the spread on that one, by the way?
For Pitt?
Yeah.
6.5.
I believe, yeah, Miami -7.
Okay. What's the weather going to be like there on Saturday, Reed? I know you might not be in town, but still.
Cold. Here, I'll tell you. I'll give you the exact. So in Pittsburgh on Saturday, cloudy, a low temperature of 24, a high of 36.
Oof. Cloudy. Big shocker there for Pittsburgh.
Yep. No comment.
Very big shocker there.
No comment.
Yeah, so
At game time, it's gonna be 35 with a real feel at 34.
Okay, so not too crazy, but yeah, Pitt would be my only ones. Yeah. Other than that, not bad. I definitely agree with Oregon.
For sure.
Halfway agree with Bama. Yeah, man. I can't give you good advice on. Well, dang. Okay, I can't talk. I can't give you good advice on 18 leg parlays, brother. So sorry. Be right back.
He was just giving his thoughts, bro. Let the man speak.
I would say add 5 or 6 more legs to that one, and then you should be good.
I was about to say, let's just get it to like plus 20,000, and I think that's a good thought. I think that's the best way to go.
I don't remember all the legs he said, but
it's in the chat. It's in the yeah. All right, and then Ben's question. What does North Texas have to do to be ranked?
They got to join the SEC or the ACC. That's it.
Yeah,
they got to join a power conference.
I mean, at this rate, they got to join the Big 12 for sure.
I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, you know what I'm saying, but it is kind of like JMU 9-1 now, or are they 10-1?
10-1, yeah.
10-1 now. The fact that they're not ranked over Pitt and SMU, I mean, they probably haven't played as hard of schedules, but it's hard to win 10 games no matter where you're at for both of those teams.
Completely agree.
And
I feel like that's the only factor going into it.
We didn't talk about it before, but I would have told you that they're going to rank Pitt and SMU just because they have an opportunity. Like they were kind of banking on Miami and Louisville for the longest, and then when it kind of got a little scary there, they're like, okay, well, let's just throw SMU and Pitt in at the end. So if they do end up winning, we can rank them over whoever would be the other G5. For North Texas specifically, I honestly could not tell you because they should be over Tulane. I think they're just assuming that Tulane beats them in the AAC.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I also don't know why they assume Miami is going to even make the ACC title game because it would take a lot. I don't know why they make the assumptions that they do other than to just position it to where they have the teams that they kind of want in, the good, clean teams who we like. We want those guys in. We don't want, UConn. I know UConn's not going to make it, but we don't want those. We don't want North Texas. We don't want James Madison. We want Tulane, who we trust to, get some ratings, to have at least like a 24-point spread against Georgia. Not a North Texas, not that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Drama, good evening, my friend.
Man, what's going on, fellas? Appreciate it, Reed.
Of course, bro.
Letting me up.
Of course. What you got in your mind?
On parlay though? Man, I went down like a little deep rabbit hole on the Tulane shit. On the Lane Kiffin shit.
Yeah.
And I was watching like a Todd McShay video, and he had brought up maybe Sellers going to LSU. How do y'all feel about that?
Wait, say that one more time.
It would be.
He said it in passing. Like he was like, "Well, what if LSU, gets Sellers?" And then he kind of like shut up, and I was like, "Whoa."
I guess it would depend on who LSU gets for coach. If they get Kiffin, I mean, and
my dog
Norris is in the portal.
If
what? Reed say it's imminent, man.
Kiffin.
That's what Reed dropped it a couple days ago. And then I don't know if y'all seen today, like a little crazy Reddit been going around that he supposedly like copped the crib this past weekend or some shit.
Yeah, I
don't know how true that is either.
I mean, Colton, that came up from our group chat that Lane Kiffin was basically a imminent deal like to happen.
Well, I saw he got offered. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
it was like he was expected to sign it.
It was in our group chat. I think Jake, aka College Football Red Zone, put it in there. I'm just putting what he said in our group chat, but still, yeah. My response to that, like, personally, if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU, I think any player that goes in the portal is an option that's like a top player in the portal. Like, one of the best programs in the country with one of the better, if not like a top 5, 6, 7 head coach in the country. Like, I think any player that goes in the portal is definitely an option, no matter if it's Lenore Sellers, Drew Messamaker, now that North Texas's coach has gone to Oklahoma State. Like, I think any player in the portal is a real option, no matter who it is.
Appreciate that. And then my other question was, do y'all think Kenny and Sam are a package deal?
Kenny and Sam package deal. I don't know. I feel like it'll be easier to lure Sam Leavitt away from Arizona State than it would be to lure Dillingham away from Arizona State. You know what I mean? Because Arizona State, that's basically like his dream job at the end of the day. He grew up in Tempe, went to Arizona State, started his coaching career as a GA at Arizona State, and took the long way back there. I feel like it's going to take a miracle to somehow get him away from Arizona State. Whether it be he just runs his course and they just get to a point that they don't want to keep him at some point down the road, whenever that may be. He gets fully persuaded by an open job that comes in the future, whether it is this cycle or next, or any future job, down the road. Like, I feel like it'll be easier to lure Sam Leavitt away. Now, there was that report from Nakos, I think it was last week, that he apparently is exploring options per like his agent. But then the whole screenshot with his brother and Nakos texting his brother saying like he was giving him a warning, and then his brother posted on his Instagram story that like that's not true. Like, where are you getting this from? So I don't know what to believe relative to at least Sam Leavitt. I have no idea. If he were to go in the portal, though, just to answer your question again, I feel like it's easier to lure him away than Dillingham. So package deal, I don't really see that. I see more Sam Leavitt being pulled away than Dillingham for sure.
Okay, that answered both of my questions. Do you want Sam with your boys back in Penn State if possible?
Ooh, do I want him? I would I would give up anything for Sam Leavitt. I'd give him the bag. I'd give him the key to State College. Like, shoot, Sam Leavitt at Penn State. Now, granted, you'd have to give him some receiver help because the receivers we brought in the portal this past cycle are all graduating. But yeah, I feel like it also plays a part who, is the head coach for Penn State and offensive coordinator. I'm not saying Kotelnicki doesn't keep his job. I'm not saying Kotelnicki, is pursuing other options. I'm not saying whoever they do bring in as head coach is going to be an offensive-minded coach, because who knows who Penn State's going to hire. So trying to think how I want to word this. I feel like I would 100% I would take Sam Leavitt no matter what. I just don't know how it would be in whatever scenario Penn State ends up in. Like, for example, when we got Kotelnicki, we had Auer on the roster. And as we've seen it play out at times, and especially this season over everything, like Auer and Kotelnicki was essentially oil and water, and they didn't mix. If you go back to Kotelnicki's time at Kansas before he did get hired by Penn State, he had Jalen Daniels, who was one of the more mobile quarterbacks in all of college football, more dual threat quarterbacks in all of college football. And you were able to see success in that, option style offense where we're spreading it out, using funky formations and motions to set up big run plays and play action and stuff like that. Like, Jalen Daniels fit really well in his offense. When he was there with Jalen Daniels at Kansas, they had one of the best offenses in the country the year before he got hired at Penn State. And then you try to fit in a pocket passer nature play style of Drew Hauer into that offense, it just didn't work out in the long run. So if Sam Levitt were to come and Kotelnicki was still the offensive coordinator, I feel like that would be a better fit to his offense compared to Hauer, because Sam Levitt is capable of, getting jiggy on the ground, to say the least. Like he can move a little bit. So, I mean, I would be interested. I would for sure be down for it. That's a great question for sure. I threw out last week, I feel like Sam Levitt would also be an option for Virginia Tech. They're going to go crazy heavy on the portal now that Franklin's there. They've gotten a ton of, recruits that have flipped from Penn State and are opening up their options and considering Virginia Tech now to follow him. You have a bunch of staffers already in the building with him that left Penn State to follow him to Virginia Tech. I feel like Sam Levitt at Virginia Tech would go kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie, but that's just my thought on it. Yeah, I appreciate that thought though, Drama, because I mean, for sure, I'd take him at Penn State. It's just there's a ton of different factors that weigh into that for sure. I feel like, I mean, shoot, any team that's in the, running for a quarterback in the portal this coming cycle, like in a heartbeat would take Sam Levitt for sure.
And I appreciate you for bringing up the Virginia Tech thought, because I didn't even think about that. And since the ACC to me is wide open,
for sure,
I think that could be a home run if James was to pull it off.
For sure, no doubt. No doubt. Again, appreciate you coming up and asking those questions. Those are great questions. Just checking the chat one more time. Ben says that Drew Messmaker going to Oklahoma State, and so is Caleb Hawkins. Don't hate that. Don't hate that. I said it at the top of the show, and if you want to hear the full thoughts on the Oklahoma State hiring of Eric Morris, that will be at the top of the show. So if you go back and listen to the recording, we have a full breakdown and reaction to that. But I do think Oklahoma State has a lot to be excited for. That's for sure. I mean, Messmaker is going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the portal if he does go in. Caleb Hawkins, I feel like, is definitely going to go in the portal. He's going to be one of the better running backs to go in this cycle. I mean, Oklahoma State obviously goes immediately to the top of the list of both those players to have a chance to get them for sure. Colton, Roddy, I don't know if you have any thoughts about, potentially Oklahoma State poaching North Texas's quarterback and running back, but I think they're definitely an option for sure.
I will say if Messmaker, gets more attention, which he will get more attention than just for Oklahoma State. I wouldn't. I mean, whoever Oklahoma State gets, I would be excited for, because Messmaker. Where was he in high school? I don't know. What kind of offers were he getting? And
I have an answer for you. I have an answer to that.
Where?
He was a preferred walk-on at North Texas. Had no offers.
Was he not even a quarterback? Did I hear that on the broadcast? That he got transitioned to a quarterback?
I think he wanted to play quarterback at his high school, and then they either put him at receiver or like some other position. And then he walked on to North Texas to play quarterback, and obviously things have worked out how they worked out. So, dude,
listen,
kid
can
sling it though. Pause, but he can.
If Eric Morris, now I haven't played a sport in years, even recreationally. If he got me and put me at quarterback, I might have 2,000 yards. That's the kind of coach Eric Morris is. I have no I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm not Drew Messmaker, but I mean Drew Messmaker, it was just revealed in this very broadcast, is a preferred walk-on wide receiver, and now is probably going to demand millions of dollars in the transfer portal, probably.
Well, it's also not common you're getting a 6'6", 6'7" tall quarterback as a preferred walk-on at any school, but
that is fair. But if I'm an Oklahoma State fan and I get Eric Morris, if I don't know, if some kid from the creek, the underneath the bridge is suiting up at quarterback for me at Oklahoma State next year, he's probably going to throw for 2,830 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? At the least.
Yeah, just to state it again for the people that are now in here. Eric Morris, the now head coach at Oklahoma State, has coached Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Cam Ward, Chandler Morris, who's the quarterback at UVA right now. There's also one more big one. John Mateer. So he's basically the quarterback whisperer of college football, essentially. What Brian Hartline is to Ohio State and those receivers, he is basically that to the quarterback position of college football, other than like Lincoln Riley. But he has a big part in a lot of quarterback talent. I mean, shit, he was the coach of Patrick Mahomes, who's the greatest quarterback of this generation. So, like, again, if I'm any quarterback, like coming in this cycle, recruiting or the transfer portal, like I'm easily giving Oklahoma State a look, no doubt. I mean, just based off that acumen of quarterbacks that you have coached, put in the next level, like develop them. It's just my thought.
I don't know how much like motion Oklahoma State's going to have in recruiting in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think they definitely could get a few solid guys, could get a few high school guys, and could get a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
I would be most focused, though, because the offense, I mean, it might take a year. I'm not saying next year they're going to win 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it is the most important thing to get a defensive coach, because that's,
For sure.
It's like I said earlier in this, the defense or the offense is going to be fine, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
But North Texas defense hasn't been great. I believe they gave up, 50 to, was it Tulane? USF?
Yeah, USF, they gave up 63.
So if you can get a solid, now I'm not saying they have to go get Jim Knowles from Penn State. If you can get a solid defensive hire and then get some solid recruits on defense, you can make a push in the Big 12, because the Big 12 is not going to give you, other than Texas Tech this year, and maybe Utah, BYU is pretty decent on defense. They're not going to give you a ton of elite defenses like the SEC or the Big 10.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can be functional on defense and then have an Eric Morris led offense, you're gonna be very, very good. That's, to me, you can get a quarterback, you can get a running back that isn't mess to maker and be fine, as long as the defensive hire is at least decent.
For sure. Hey, Drama, any final thoughts before we get out of here? On anything. It doesn't have to be about the betting conversation, just in general.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, happy holidays, man. Appreciate you for all the information and everything. Appreciate you, Carlito, as well.
Yes, sir, brother. Appreciate you, man. Happy holidays. Be safe. If your family tells you to take that shot, but do it responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going on a walk with your cousins before dinner, make sure you got your Axe body spray. Y'all remember Axe, man? Y'all remember that? Love Axe. Got me a lot of bitches in my day, back when I was a single man. Anyway, but have a good time, man. Enjoy your family. You don't know how many more times you're gonna do it. So,
yeah, Roddy stole my thunder. I mean, I was gonna say happy Thanksgiving. Of course, checking on all your loved ones, even if you aren't spending the holiday with them. You never know when it is going to be the last time you speak to them, see them, stuff like that. So always checking on your loved ones, stuff like that. And yeah, have a great holiday. Colton, I saw you came off the mute.
No, I was just gonna say amen to all that.
For sure, no doubt. All right, again, we will be back Friday morning, special edition of the preview show, a pseudo kickoff show for the Black Friday games, and full preview of all of the big time games coming up on Saturday. Again, with the holiday, we will not have the preview show on Thursday, but we will move it to Friday morning. Official time will be put out on my timeline. So probably around 9 a.m. Eastern is going to be my initial guess, but official time will be announced later in the week. For me, Reed, host of Love for the Game, Colin, O&O Sports, Roddy, aka Burlito, and Drama got up here at the buzzer. Appreciate everyone listening to the playback, the YouTube recording, stuff like that. We will catch you guys Friday morning. Appreciate everyone. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll catch you guys on Friday. Peace.